You ever have that moment where you pull up your banking app on a Friday afternoon, you just got paid, you see that comma in your balance, maybe there's an extra $1,000 sitting there after the must-pays are handled. For a split second, you feel rich. You think, this is it. This is the month I finally get ahead. This is the month I buy those new sneakers, fix the sink, and maybe even put some into my brokerage account. Then Monday rolls around. You didn't go to Vegas, you didn't buy a Rolex, you just lived. You went to Target for one thing. You filled up the tank. You grabbed a quick dinner because work ran late. And suddenly, that $1,000 has turned into $14.82. And you're sitting there genuinely confused, asking, where did it go? The 2026 reality. If that's you, you aren't failing. You're just living in 2026. Today, a grand feels like $100 because the math and your own brain are working against you. We've been told for decades that $1,000 is the big number, the standard emergency fund, the fun money threshold. But in 2026, that number is a ghost. Let's look at a household bringing home a clean $10,000 a month after taxes. That's $120,000 a year. In most parts of the country, that's successful. But let's look at what happens when that family tries to spend just $1,000 of extra money. First, the invisible leaks. The average cost of a grocery run for a family of 4 is sitting between $215 and $280. That's a 25% increase from just a few years ago. You go to Target for laundry detergent and leave with $120 of stuff you didn't know you needed. You fill the tank for $80. We are only 48 hours into the weekend and we've already burned through $450. We haven't even had fun yet. The psychological trap. This isn't just about the price of eggs, it's about hedonic adaptation. Your brain is a master at turning luxuries into necessities. Think about your life 5 years ago. Back then, your current salary would have seemed like a fortune, but now it's just
A bigger house in the better school district? It costs $2,600 to $3,200 a month now. You don't feel rich in that house. You just feel like you're providing. The 2 car payments? They're $950 to $1,100. You've traded your freedom for a higher floor. Here's what most people don't realize. Your second income didn't give you more freedom. It simply gave the bank, the car dealer, and every retailer permission to charge you more. The vulnerability. We've been conditioned to think $1,000 is a massive safety net, but an emergency fund of $1,000 in 2026 is like bringing a squirt gun to a house fire. It might make you feel better for a second, but it's not stopping the damage. Back when families ran on one income, their fixed costs were lower. If the breadwinner lost their job, they could cut back and survive. Today, both of you need to keep those high-paying jobs just to cover the mortgage you bought because you had 2 incomes. One layoff, one medical issue, or one burnout, and the whole thing collapses. That's why bankruptcy rates for dual-income families are actually higher now than they were for single-income families a generation ago. The shift. It feels unfair to work this hard and still feel squeezed. But wealth isn't about how much you bring home. It's about how much you keep. It's about the gap between your income and your ego. If you can learn to see through the illusion, you can start building a life that doesn't collapse if the wind blows the wrong way. It starts with one choice, one no to a luxury that feels like a necessity, one yes to your future self.
Conclusion, takeaway lesson. The real problem isn't that $1,000 disappears. It's that your life is designed to consume it. In 2026, money doesn't vanish because you're irresponsible. It vanishes because your fixed costs, habits, and expectations are calibrated to absorb every extra dollar you earn. That's the trap. If every raise upgrades your lifestyle, then no income will ever feel like enough. Not $5,000, not $10,000, not even $20,000 a month. So the goal isn't to chase a bigger number. The goal is to create distance between what you earn and what you need to survive. Because that gap, that's where freedom lives. Freedom isn't in the paycheck, it's in the margin. And the people who win financially in this decade aren't the ones making the most money. They're the ones who refuse to let their lifestyle rise as fast as their income. So the next time you see an extra $1,000 in your account, don't ask, what can I buy? Ask, how much of this can I keep? Because the truth is simple. If you can protect $1,000, you can build wealth. If you can't, no amount of income will ever be enough.